Yo, what's up guys, Bajheera here. Now I'm going to try to make this video relatively quick because I actually do want to make a full guide at level 80 for Arms Warrior PvP and Wrath of the Lich King Classic. But because we've been blasting in the pre-patch, been having a lot of fun with it, I did want to make a quick sort of overview guide over a few things that I think would be useful for you guys to get set up, and a couple things that have been helpful for me as we've been pumping in the pre-patch. I've been having a blast. I hope you guys have too. This is a lot of fun in Wrath. And yeah, like I said, hopefully this helps you guys just get things started a little bit with your warrior. Let's roll. First things first, we'll go over the talents. This build has been great so far. Obviously, you can tweak it to make it more what you want. If there's a couple of talent points here and there that you want to switch around, that'd be fine. We're probably going to be adding to it once we get more talent points at level 80, but this has been good so far. So, first things first, 3 points in deflection for 3% parry chance, 2 out of 2 in improved rend, which increases the bleed damage done by rend by 20%. Rend is actually pretty cool in Wrath. It seems to do more damage, and it's very helpful for proccing overpower, which we'll talk about in a second once you take the talent for it. Iron Will reduces the duration of all stun and charm effects used against you. Very nice. Tactical Mastery, so cool that this is in the arms tree now. It allows you to retain up to 15 additional rage. So basically, it makes it so that you have like 25 rage when you swap stances, which is great. And it increases the threat generated by Mortal Strike, which is not a PvP thing, but doesn't really matter. You definitely want to take that, so you can stance a little bit better. Improved Aura Power, super nice. Increases the critical strike chance of your Aura Power ability by 50%. We're going to need that. We're going to need those big, just shattering overpowered crits on people, and your crits are going to be even more nasty thanks to Impale, which increases the critical strike damage of, or critical strike bonus damage or whatever of your ability. So instead of, being a normal crit, it's 20% more powerful. We want that, especially because we also have Deep Wounds, which makes our crits cause bleeds, which deals a pretty good little amount of damage. And it makes the little squelchy crit noise, which is, so good. So good. You'll see that Arms Warriors synergize with crit really nicely for a lot of reasons that we'll find out about just in a second as we scroll down here. Definitely want the 2-handed weapon specialization. There's only 3 points in it now. Gives you a full 6% though. So it's less talent points invested and more gains. It used to be 5 talent points for 5% damage, but now it's even better. Sweet. Taste for Blood, this is what I was talking about a second ago. Whenever your rend ability causes damage, you have a 100% chance of allowing the use of Overpower ability for 9 seconds, 1 charge. This effect will not occur more than once every 6 seconds, but rend ticks, once every 3 seconds, so you actually do want to put all, 3 points in there, so that you will, be able to guarantee yourself, the Taste for Blood as often as possible. Very nice. So, part of the discussion with this weapon specialization is, humans still get the expertise from mace and sword, but axe is 5% crit. There's no longer mace stun, and sword spec, it is a 10% chance when you invest fully in it, but it can only occur once every 6 seconds. And I don't know, man. I think crit is so insane because of Impale, because of, if we'll scroll down just a little bit, because of Wrecking Crew. I think crit is pretty juicy. So I'm with crit. You play what you want, but I think crit's insane. Sweeping Strikes. Your next 5 melee attacks strike an additional nearby opponent. Very nice. You can glyph to make it free. I'll show you my glyphs after we go through the talents. Very, very cool. Weapon Mastery. It gives you, a little bit of expertise, basically. Just reduces the chance for your attacks to be dodged. But mainly, it reduces the effects of disarm. So you don't need to wear a weapon chain as an arms warrior. You can put some other enchant on there, which is sweet. You can put points in improved hamstring if you want to. You can also glyph for improved hamstring, basically. Which is pretty cool. I might do that later on. But we didn't do that for the pre-patch. But for all these freaking DKs, maybe you need to. Anyway. Trauma, your melee critical strikes increase the effectiveness of bleed effects on the target by 30% for 1 minute. So, you're probably going to crit at some point. And it'll make, the debuff last for a minute. But getting that crit going earlier on and making your bleeds tick harder earlier on, is very nice. So once again, another thing that sort of is benefiting from crit for Arms Warrior, another reason to lean into that crit for Axe Specialization. Second Wind, whenever you're struck by a stun or immobilized effects like a root, generate rage and heal a little bit, very nice. We will take any sort of self-healing that warriors can get, for sure. Obviously, you're going to take Mortal Strike, and then 3 out of 3 into Mortal Strike. Reducing the cooldown by a little bit and making it deal more damage is great. Whenever we get our third Glyph spot at 80, I think we're going to be actually glyphing for Mortal Strike too to make it cause even more damage, so that'll be sweet. Strength of Arms, just good old strength and stam, then expertise. Seems worth. I mean, it's a lot of stats, so I went ahead and took that one. But I mean, if you wanted to put like points in improved hamstring maybe instead of that, I'm not sure. But this is pretty good. Pretty good. Juggernaut, oh baby. We get the charge in combat now, guys. So nice. So nice. It does increase the cooldown on charge by 5 seconds. But it's super worth. And it also gives you an additional 25% chance to crit on a slam or Mortal Strike. So probably mostly Mortal Strike that we want to use there, because it's a whole 10 seconds of buff for that. So yeah, charge, boom, big Mortal Strikes, especially if you have a bunch of crit. And another thing, Assault. This is super nice. It reduces the cooldown of Overpower. Like, a lot of these talents do like 2 really good things. It's insane. So like reducing the cooldown of Overpower by 4 seconds is insane enough, and Revenge for that matter. Which Revenge hits really freaking hard in Wrath. It's kind of nuts. And increase the damage done by 20%. Not only that, if you strike a player with an Overpower while they are casting, their magical damage and healing will be reduced by 50% for 6 seconds. So, what? You get, there's 2 talent points for a 4-second reduced cooldown, 20% increased damage, and a 50% basically like Mortal Strike. If you overpower somebody while they're healing, it's 50% less heals and 50% less damage if they're casting a damaging magical ability. Like, what? That's crazy. So take that. Sudden Death. Your melee hits have a 9% chance of allowing the use of Execute regardless of the target's health. In addition, you get to keep at least 10 rage after using Execute. So that's another like 2 like benefit thing right there, right? So you're going from a lot of like, you can only execute when they're low health, you can only overpower that particular target after they dodge, to having Execute procs you can use on anybody, overpower procs that you can use on everybody. It makes, oh my gosh, you can charge in combat. It makes Arms Warrior feel so much better than in TBC. But still feels good. I mean, it's like, Arms Warrior is cool, but now it's like, oh, it's a real class. This is insane. You can actually do fun stuff and cool stuff. I think a lot of classes are like that in Wrath, though. So, awesome stuff in Wrath. Endless Rage. You generate 25% more rage from damage dealt. That's nice. You want rage. Blood Frenzy. Increases your melee attack speed by 10%, which is nuts. In addition, your Rend and Deep Wounds abilities also increase all physical damage caused to that target by 4%. So it's like, you had the 4% increased damage thing, but now you get 10% attack speed too. It's like, okay, sure. Wrecking Crew. This is another reason why you want crit, guys. Your melee crits enrage you, increasing all damage caused. I think it says caused by like you. Oh no, sorry. All this damage caused is increased by 10%. Sorry. For 12 seconds. This effect does not stack with Enrage, so if you had Enrage from Fury, it doesn't stack. But, yeah, you want all points in that. And then, of course, we have Bladestorm. Bladestorm cranks. It does cost Rage, and you can be disarmed on it. It's so sad that you can be disarmed on Bladestorm. But, you absolutely wallop people. Instantly whirlwind up to 4 nearby targets, and for the next 6 seconds, you will perform a whirlwind attack every 1 second. You can't be CC'd otherwise, but you can be disarmed, which is very sad. But whatever. You crank. So you can just like Sweeping Strikes Bladestorm now, and it actually works. It is juicy. So that's the arms talents as I have them. Then I just 4 points in crit. You guys know that I like crit. Could you guys tell? So yeah, after that, I think at level 80 will probably go Cruelty. Maybe Booming Voice. I don't know if this is good in Wrath. I'm not sure yet, but maybe... No. We definitely have to do Armor to the Teeth. That's new. Definitely want Armor to the Teeth, and then maybe 2 points somewhere else so we can get Piercing Howl, and then a couple points in Blood Craze, maybe. I think that'll be the plan. That'll be the plan. But we'll also see. With Glyphs, I went with Sweeping Strikes. Make Sweeping Strikes free. It's really fun to just macro Sweeping Strikes Bladestorm together. And just slam. You can even macro Sweeping Strikes Retail. Also not a bad idea. Hello there. Can I help you? Uh, hello. Uh, we've got Overpower as well. Oh, this is so good. Adds 100% chance to enable your Overpower when your attacks are parried. So all those DKs who have like 98% parry chance, they parry your hamstring, boom, Overpower. Give them another hamstring, boom, another Overpower. And if you guys didn't notice, you probably did notice, but you're like, what the heck's going on? After you Overpower, you get a fast global. So your global cooldown is faster after an Overpower. So yeah, so you Overpower and just like immediately start spamming, you know, whatever else you want, like Mortal Strike, Execute, and it's like bang bang. It's pretty awesome. Blood Rage, I for my minor glyphs, I put Blood Rage in there so that it doesn't actually cost me any health. I put Charge in there because 5 extra yards on your charge is pretty sweet to chase down those mages or whatever. And then Glyph of Battle, just quality of life, makes your battle shout last 4 minutes instead of 2, which is great. I like that. So that's my talent and glyph setup. In terms of the gear, it's really not super complicated. Like if you're like me and you're like coming back from, I played a little bit of TBC like season 1, which is fun, and then I kind of played other games. So I came back. I wasn't full boosty because I had like season 1 gear, but yeah, the brutal gear is pretty sweet. So just buy the brutal stuff. If you guys don't know what to buy, then you know, buy the stuff with strength on it. I actually did accidentally buy the Spellflower cloak because I looked at it, it had stamina, and I was like, oh nice, cool, all right, that doesn't have any intelligence on it, that's the one I want. And then I was like, oh whoops, no, you want the attack power one. So in terms of like gems and enchants, I kind of went cheap, so don't necessarily take my advice on the gems and enchants, but you can enchant your gloves, you can enchant your legs, you can buy like leg armor for legs. You can enchant your bracers with brawn. You can enchant your chest with like exceptional stats, but it costs like 200 gold, and I was like, bro, money is tight. Okay, I don't have that kind of money. So I didn't put stats on my chest. I put agility on my cloak, and let's see, I put yeah, I put the little helm enchant from Zanger Marsh on there, and then the shoulder enchant from the Aldor guys. So I think it's good to gem for Resil. But once again, it's like, so them Brazil gems started to get expensive, so I started putting like just crit in there, which is fine. It's less expensive, but eventually you're gonna want the good stuff. Oh, and I just put Savagery in my weapon instead of Executioner, but those are things that you can enchant for. And then I just bought these little trinkets just because those are ones that you can buy with honor. You could do double crit, but people kept living with like 1 HP when I had double crit, so I was like, all right, I'm putting on attack power on, then we're putting them down. So just need to hit a little harder. But yeah, that's the gear. Once again, I want to lean heavier into like a more edited guide and stuff, and like a more full guide. But I just didn't want to leave you guys hanging for the pre-patch. So I wanted to walk you through a couple macros as well. Just teach you how to write a macro in general. So there's a couple things that you need to know, and I talk about this like all the time with macros. Some of the basic stuff, right? So you do like a show tooltip charge. So that'll make whenever you hover over the macro, it'll show you the tooltip for charge. Slash cast is how you make like an ability go off. And then you could do things like cancel aura Bladestorm. So this macro would make you, if you're Bladestorming, it would stop your Bladestorm. You'd go into battle stance. You would charge. You would hamstring, and it would start your auto attack. So that's like a basic thing. Weapon swap macros are pretty important too. Same thing. You show tooltip, spell reflection. It would equip my one-hander. It'll slash equip my shield. If I am in berserker stance, it'll put me in battle stance. And if I'm in battle stance or defensive stance, it'll cast spell reflection. You can cast spell reflection in battle stance now, by the way. And not doing BGs yet, Louise. Sorry, not yet. And it'll cast spell reflection. It'll also cast blood rage. Like, so if you don't have enough rage to spell reflect, it'll do that. So weapon swap macros are very important. And then using this thing, this slash cast, like closed bracket stance 1 or 2, and then a thing is really nice. That's super helpful to be able to say, if I'm in these stances, use this. But if I'm in this stance, use this. So like, you can do that for there's like other abilities like Rend, where you can cast that in 2 stances, but you can't cast it in Zerker. So like if you're in Berserker stance, go battle, and if you're in D or battle, go just cast Rend. Those are really cool. So those are like the big things, right? Just like general macro, like how do you write a macro, and then shield swap macros, and then stance swap macros. Those are the big ones. So once you get those down, you're pretty much good to go. Same thing with like overpower, I think. Overpower can only be cast in battle stance, so you can just go ahead and say /cast battle stance, overpower, start attack, cancel, or a Bladestorm. So like if you, I don't know, something's low health, you can either wait for the last Bladestorm tick, or you could just cancel it and overpower them for like twice the damage and kill them. So, but yeah, so those are the things that I want my warrior brothers to be equipped with. Are stance swap macros, weapon swap macros, and then if you just don't know how to write a macro in general, it's a lot of like show tooltip to get to show the tooltip that you want, /cast for whatever abilities that you want. Start attack is always good to have in your macros, and canceling your Bladestorm is important, and then /equip for weapon swaps for things like, you know, shield block and shield wall and spell reflect, and then stance swap macros, and then like stance conditionals. Those are like the big things that I want you guys to know. And I can go through like every macro if we wanted to at some point, but we just don't need to right now. The one thing to know about macros, well, not the one thing, but one thing to know about macros is if your macros aren't working right, it could be because you're trying to put 2 abilities that are on global cooldown in the same macro. So you can only have 1 global cooldown per macro unless you write it in a particular kind of way, in which case they won't go off at the same time, but you can make it like a cast sequence, something like that, but you don't need to worry about that. Basically just have 1 ability per, you know, 1 ability on global cooldown per macro, and then you're gonna be good to go. And hopefully that kind of helps get you started. Just because we're here and we get a lot of questions about it, some of my very basic add-ons are, I use Bartender for my action bar. I use Easy Frames for these frames right here. And then for frames above people's heads, I use Threat Plates. And if you come to my stream and type !plates in the chat, it'll link you a video to my Threat Plates guide that I went over for Shadowlands. And in the description of that video, there is a paste bin where you can copy and import my Threat Plate settings into your Threat Plates. And even if it's from Shadowlands, I legit just went to my Threat Plates video, did the same thing I'm telling you to do right now, copy and pasted it, and plopped it right in my classic, and it works. So do that. I use details for a damage meter. There's like this proc for my execute spell activation overlay. It should highlight like when I have the abilities available in my action bar, but they don't. Maybe it's because I'm using like macros or something like that. I can't really tell. But here's my add-ons right now. I haven't really put any weak auras in. I have DBM, but I don't have a ton of add-ons right now. But these are the ones I use. But those are the main ones that you're seeing on my UI. Are you know, the Bartender for bars, Easy Frames for my frames, and then Threat Plates above their heads, and spell activation overlay for like the little weak aura looking thing. But you could do that with a weak aura, and I probably will at some point. But anyway, I don't want this video to get too long. It's already almost 20 minutes long. I do that. My Wrath guide is gonna be like 4 hours long. Like, guys, Wrath Warrior is so sick. But I'm just getting up in the morning. I wanted to record this for you guys because like I said, I've been having a blast in pre-patch. Some of you guys might be looking to, you know, get your warriors going, or just wanted to see what I was up to with my talent build, and you guys can try something similar. I think this is really good so far. Been having a blast, and I just wanted to get you guys squared away on some of the basics for my warrior brothers out there. Hopefully this helps. Hey, if it did, and if you enjoyed it, make sure you sub if you haven't already. Give the video a big thumbs up. Leave a nice little comment. Help this channel continue to make them gains. It's going to be a big time, man. Going to be a big time. We got Shadowlands pumping still. I want to get rank 1 this season. Got Wrath of the Lich King pre-patch, which I'm loving. Got Dragonflight to look forward to. It's going to be a good time for WoW. It's going to be a good time for us. So sub it up. Stay tuned. Let's keep kicking butt together in the games and gains. We'll see you guys next time. Come say on the stream, too. Twitch.tv/Bajheera. We'll see you guys there. Peace!